Hi friends. So today I will be doing my book review of The God of Small Things by Arundhati Roy. I got the pronunciation correct this time. So this was one of the 3 books my friend from India gave me for Christmas. I finished it in a little over a month's time. The God of Small Things was published in 1997. The author is from India and lives in Delhi, New Delhi, I don't know. And it tells the story about a Christian family living in Kerala, which is a southern province or state in India. And it tells the story of the lives of a couple of non-identical, I think it's called fraternal twins, Esta and Rahel, Esta the boy and Rahel the girl. And it tells of it's a non-linear story jumping back and forth in the timeline. So there are 2 main time periods that's set in. 1993. This book was published in 1997, by the way. 1993 and 1969. 1993 is a little bit of a slow burn. It is just Esta and Rahel coming back to their home province and reflecting on their childhood. Meanwhile, in 1969, when they were still children, it tells of the story of the days leading up to a tragic event. Now, but interspersed between those 2 timelines is everything that happens in between 1969 and 1993, as well as events that happened before. So there's a lot of exposition background stories that happened before 1969 and in between 1969 and 1993. So the story is non-linear. That kind of threw me off because I didn't like that at all. I wish there was at least some chronology in there rather than jumping back and forth. Maybe if they had like these date marks over when certain events happens, like each set of paragraphs at one period of time gives like the years or the days of at what particular time it's happening, I might be satisfied with that. But yeah, the abrupt shifts in the chronology, I didn't like that at all. I don't know what Arundhati Roy was trying to do. I've heard some people say how this thing transcends time, like seeing all these repeating themes, how we don't think in a linear way in our minds. I don't know. But the gist of the story is, so these twins are separated for many years after the tragic events of 1969 and are reunited in 1993. And it also tells the story of their mother, Amu, and their family. So they are a Christian family. They're a mix of, they are a mix of Roman Catholics and Oriental Orthodox Christians. Now, this book carries, addresses themes of the caste system and family tragedies. The story details things like they're living in the midst of a popular communist movement in Kerala, and even as Christians, and even the Communist Party themselves, this book points out that even if you're not a Hindu, and even if you proclaim to be against the caste system, you still hold a lot of prejudices, that Indians still hold these long-held prejudices against people of lower castes, the so-called untouchables. And this story deals with themes of who you love and who cannot be loved. So there's social pressures of people of different castes should mingle minimally, especially the untouchables. So and I have to repeat this because even Christians and communists are held down with pre-existing prejudices. And so because of this caste system, it's not difficult to put two and two together, but I won't spoil it for you. It's not difficult to put two and two together and see that it is because of this inability to love who we want that it leads to the tragic events of 1969. This story's backdrop shows the has brief settings, has very short scenes in the UK and in the United States, but excuse me, mostly in Kerala, southern India. And so, yeah, and the earliest flashback scenes are from the late 19th century, and the last ones are in 1993. So like I said, this book is non-linear, but it's as early as, I believe it was the 1870s. Ancestors and some very much older characters who were alive in the 19th century were still around in 1969. And then it's much later. Many of the original characters have passed away in 1993. And this book also deals with multiple family tragedies. It's a little bit of a slice of life story as well, because there's all these other family dramas that are not related to the caste system. But the caste system shows its ugly head, rears its ugly head, making family tragedies worse. And this story has multiple examples of people rebelling against who can and cannot be loved. So the book refers to it as the love laws. And the perspective of the children is interesting. They have this very vivid imagination, these two young children. They're kind of gross. They do things like play with spit bubbles, and then they have these pretend things. So then they play pretend, and then they read signposts backwards, and they imagine the adults around the area as cartoon characters. All the world's a play, and all the world's a stage, and everyone merely plays in it, if that was the correct thing. So that's how the children see the world, which is interesting and kind of cute, but sometimes it gets a little bit like, I don't want to stay in the heads of small children for too long. The perspective of children is good for bite-sized bits, but not an entire book. But to be fair, there's also chapters from the perspective of the adults. And so there is that. There's this whimsical thing, the ways of doing things, like they combine words together. Orange drink, lemon drink, man. That's one popular phrase you hear often. So there often words are merged, two or three words are merged together into one long word. So there's no breath, or there's no, there feels like there's no space in between certain words. So it is a, for lack of a better term, very whimsical way of looking at the world. It's cute. I must say that I relate to the family in this book because I am from a Christian background my personal beliefs is something else, but I am from a Christian family in a Muslim majority country. So this is a Christian family in a Hindu majority country in the tropics. So that's why I felt like a kind of sense of tribal connection with the characters, if you understand. Like similar circumstances, you know? A Christian minority in a country of another religion's majority in Asia, in the tropics. And yeah, the book was very sad. There's no and I don't want to risk any spoilers. Because this book jumps backwards and forwards in the timeline so much, it's very easy to spoil it. But yeah, like I said, it's not difficult to put two and two together. It's about loving the wrong person. I won't say who. I'd give this book a 7 out of 10. I enjoyed it in some parts, but it's not for me. But this book is not my favorite in theme. This book is probably the most booktube friendly book I've reviewed on this channel, in the sense that people want this kind of literary fiction, if that makes sense. I follow tropes and genres all the time. I don't experiment with my writing style, with my reading style, if that makes any sense. So yeah, a 7 out of 10, The God of Small Things by Arundhati Roy. I had 3 books as a Christmas gift. I won't review the other 2. I've already discussed one in a live stream, and the third book, The Immortals of Meluha, is part of a series. So I don't feel it would not be a complete review if I made a review of that one. But yeah, that's the one book from India that I'm going to review on this channel. Thank you for listening in. Goodbye.